And joining me now from Los Angeles is William Lee. He's the chief economist at the Milken Institute. William, thank you for your time. Now, of course, we know that this is the first meeting since the pandemic began. Do you think it's fair to say that we're in a very different world to what Davos has been working towards in the last 50 years?
Oh, absolutely, Sally. This Davos meeting is a reality check on the themes of Davos that's been carried on for the last several meetings. It's a reality check on the climate agenda, a reality check on the timetable that was put forth, and more importantly, the conflict in Ukraine has really brought forward the trade-off between the use of fossil fuels and alternative energies and how fast that transition can be made. I think those are the issues that will be very, very much the leading items to be discussed.
One of the big ideas at Davos has been that shared economic prosperity would bring the world closer together. But has the conflict in Ukraine shown that free market capitalism doesn't necessarily promote global harmony?
Oh, in fact, what it really shows is that free market capitalism can go to extremes and stretch our supply chains to the point of vulnerabilities. And the vulnerabilities are being shown day after day with the conflict in Ukraine, especially the energy and commodity markets. But I think what it does show is that capitalism can adapt. And that's the point of the meetings now, to find ways to adapt and create security and safety along with the other S's in ESG.
We know that at the World Economic Forum, it is a possible place for peacemaking. We heard just in the report earlier, the Davos Declaration between Turkey and Greece in 1988 is a good example of that. But this year, there are no talks between Russia and Ukraine. Is enough being done to try and foster diplomacy?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We should do much, much more to try to bring this conflict to resolve it. And I think one of the things that has happened is that the world has coalesced against Russia, Russian aggression. And I think the one thing that we have not heard is that China, who has been partnering with Russia, has now an opportunity to say to the world, I can be a peacemaker and bring the parties to the table. I can bring Russia to the table, and the world can bring Ukraine, and we can have useful peace talks catalyzed by global powers.
Even China aside, though, no Russians have been invited to this year's delegation. Do you think that that undermines Davos's reputation as a place where all voices can be heard?
You might think that, and especially since Zelensky has been invited to speak his case. But I think one of the things that we haven't heard from the Russian side, and again, could be catalyzed by third parties, is their perspective on what they've been doing and their justification for it. And this Davos meeting would be a great place to do that.
Now, of course, being globally interdependent is particularly important when it comes to addressing climate change. But given most countries aren't on track to hit their goals of cutting emissions, what can be done to keep the focus and the urgency on and around this issue that tends to just wean in and out of the headlines?
I think right now the world is in such a distress, and prices have gone through the roof that have threatened the daily lives of so many people around the world, especially the poor in the poor countries of the world. This is really focusing people's attention on how to implement climate change in an efficacious manner, in a manner that allows everyone to gain and not just some of the elites.
All right, William Lee, that's all the time we've got for today. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.